We will try not to take too much of your time, even for those that care for Novios and the channel's well-being. We will try not to make this longer than 5 minutes, but I cannot guarantee that.
This was going to be about a shorthand list of why videos haven't been coming out as much as they should, but we feel like putting out there a more whole, comprehensive look at what's been going on. This should be good for new followers as well.
You can still do something in the background while listening, but expect to be here for a good minute.
Looking at how much scripting has been done, this is bound to be unforgettable.
You know this is gonna be bad when the UGO characters come out. Also, here's the time if you just want to hear out how content for next year looks like.
While this isn't the worst case on the internet, it's all no less a living nightmare. To start, let's go over the backstory. All this could not have happened if his original channel, Trey, didn't get nuked by Shueisha's mass flag of his cringe manga reviews. Bear in mind he was 2 years into his This Is How You Don't Play career, yet suffered a chain takedown of not only his first channel, but his other channels associated with the same Gmail account.
Well, that's a crock load of bullshit. Shitobu doing what Shitobu knows best, I see. Screwing over small creators even when they try hard, put out funny edits, make decent profits with them, and even doing interviews with them like they did with Noviu's first channel, then fuck it all up. Coups of lawyer fucks from Japan somehow saw some lonely assholes cover their shitty series.
Not to mention, even when Novius was in a relationship, it made him incredibly depressed. However, they did give him around a few days to download the videos.
Which leads us to his backup channel that less people may not know about. It had the This Is How You Don't Plays. He worked many hours to edit down for not just others but for his own entertainment. However,
YouTube fucked up.
Saying they fucked up is putting it mildly. This started when a personal beef with a well-known headbeat bitch-ass nigga began to taking place with Dale Wilson, low-tier god himself. And yes, I can say nigga cause I'm technically black. Long ago I was infused with the BBC gene.
He's not lying, I've seen it.
Not now, bet tits. Anyways, Dale and a boyfriend out of his found Noviu's backup channel's unlisted streams of Dale's YouTube streams. They helped him make content when certain footage can't be found, since Dale privates everything when his streams are over, most likely to prevent hate comments and troll activity. To no one's surprise, it became evident that he was very mentally touchable like his master. Novius thanked him for having quality footage of Dale getting beat by him as usual, but this fucker threatened to take legal action against Novius, and after Novius told him to fuck himself, he did just that by striking his channel for that bit of footage and the unlisted videos I mentioned with Dale at the same time, while he was at work even. But wait, was he able to get those vids back? YouTube should have gave him a bit of time again.
Unfortunately, not this time. YouTube seems to instantly have gotten rid of his channel, without a chance to get anything back. Anyone pursuing this career should other means of backing up their work, be it Facebook, Google Drive or otherwise.
Real fucking classy, YouTube. You bigwig fuckers really don't care anymore, do you? Letting evil fucktards get away with anything like this. Ironically, Dale's channel got deleted as well one day, but this is all still fucked to hell.
Reminds me of what happened on the Ark, when anything relating to Gerald's project was getting snuffed out.
Way to make it look like the internet wasn't at stake. Even black on black crime was involved.
Wait, Novius is black?
As someone who possesses the BBC gene, I have always sensed it and can confirm that Novius indeed has the BBC gene.
Again, I've seen it, especially on lonely nights.
Ain't that some shit? Imagine if Dale found out. He'd no doubt complain endlessly how much of a monkey he is, as well as throw many racist slurs at him I can't say on any platform, or else I'd be cooked harder than a fuck turkey.
To try to wrap things up, then there was the gun incident. An IRL gun. It was covered before, but to not get into too many details, Noviu's mother drew a gun in front of him. Unclear whether it was going to be on herself or meant for him, but police got involved, who told him to live with his father, packing many bags in the process. Details after this are for later.
And I thought I had family issues, and I'm a half-demon.
For the last bit of backstory, he did lose his vehicle due to late payments. He just wanted to visit his girlfriend, now ex, in Florida while having a job. Then he was told this, losing both in the process. Look no further than I to tell you how demotivating this is.
So wait a minute, that's the backstory. Just losing practically everything. Holy fucking shit, man.
Geez, if that's just the backstory, I can see why I never wanted to talk about this. Wish me and Sai could pitch in, but we're still broke.
How about I show up and start knocking some heads around for him?
Now let's skip to more current things. The meat of the issue for this channel. For starters, due to complications with no views dead and his troublesome kids, he found it more fitting to stay elsewhere. For rent, paying over and over that no one he knows can hope to pay timely, just so he doesn't do anything drastic to those close to him who have been upsetting him the most.
To continue listing his issues, the shitty people he's constantly around are far from ideal for his mental state. Last week the part he needed for his new car was the wrong one. So he needs to save up just a bit longer for a right one, but this means he'll have to stay longer at the worst place he's spending money for rent at. Due to frequent fights with the owner of the place, NoViews has been looking into places to work on videos at, but with the holidays they're closed. Sleeping problems have been an issue as well due to very noisy snores. He can only sleep when playing music on his headphones to block out such irksome noises, and no doubt it keeps up others that don't have this solution. It's been this way for about 2 months now, and he's been paying for a life like this for over a year, damn near 2 years now.
So how many people usually are at these places then? This is starting to sound way worse than I thought.
Reports say around 12 to 20 on average, but even living with 5 complete strangers, especially ones you know are drug addicts, is just terrifying. Not too far from jail. Difference being that you have to pay to stay. And I thought my family was dysfunctional.
Don't you have a wealthy family to rely on? Bet he'd switch places with you at a heartbeat.
I rather save you from the inner workings of my life, so we then can get back on track. Let's hand off this last part to the king of motivation himself.
Despite some of the least ideal circumstances, my pleasure. And that's Demon Prince of Motivation to you. Let me delve into how it was for NoViews back then to now for his creative environment. Formerly, it was a matter of either doing edits while waiting for his mother to pick him up from community college at night, while he could attend, taking that work to his first home. These days, it takes more courage and motivation than ever to bring him to continuing a seemingly thankless endeavor. Then there's not being able to do his commentary content unless he pays for single-bed hotel stays, which can produce great stress too. Especially given the few times he can do so due to lack of funds. As if putting up with hours of footage of Phil's retardation isn't bad enough. A lack of feedback, support, and viewership is also quite ugly.
Thanks as always, YouTube God. Algorithmus.
Maybe I should have been the one who showed up at YouTube headquarters instead of that shooter. I'll set those bastards straight in no time.
Now, the actual last part I will try to make quick. Also less known and rarely mentioned among streams, which are NoViews conditions, commonly mistaken as disabilities. He had issues being mute as a kid due to his TMA and stuttering issues. It should be noted that he can't usually talk too well unless really common after properly breathing. So high stress situations and repeating himself make him flub up his speech, and no one wants to see that.
Talk about rough, bro. Hey, I'd love to talk to him sometime. Maybe throw in some duels if he's down.
That is what he invests a certain amount of downtime into actually, to find people like you to talk to through various means. Though finding the right people like that is difficult to say the least, especially in a very typical southern area of mostly minorities. Dealing with being indirectly silenced to avoid conflict is an everyday struggle as well.
As hard as it is to imagine how this is, basically we go from living in normalcy in a house to living in less normalcy with his ex in another state, to living in mad houses where main transportation is by bus in recent years. How absurd.
Has he ever looked into housing, mental help, or receiving help from social workers?
We're wrapping up, so that's too many questions, but he has looked into treatment before being on his own. No luck. They took months at a time to get around to him. Most doctors didn't care about his case, and they ended up just wanting to drug him up.
Man, that's really bad. The lack of support is being a real big nail in the coffin, huh?
While this is a big case of male loneliness and the modern melodic experience, a lot of it is bad luck that most people wouldn't be able to compensate for. Those that aren't familiar with male loneliness and how hard it is to be an atypical black guy/cringe lord, the length of the video would be 5 times longer than it should, so let's say it's an ugly reality of its own.
This should more than suffice for painting the picture, right?
Only thing to mention are plans for 2025, which is in a matter of days as of scripting. Again, due to lack of moneyness and Biden inflation still in full effect, Novius wanted to build a presence as a limbo and himbo on his long-abandoned Instagram that girls at times ask him for. But he can't come close to committing to without second-guessing about his bank. He was close once, but he lost his previous job.
Content-wise, he plans to shift things to making them more LTG-centered while this is how you don't place a fill and others will be scheduled uploads. There doesn't seem to be a rush to push those out compared to the roster or even related videos to it, so might as well.
There's still plenty to go over, but that's generally it. We appreciate it if you manage to somehow get through all this. You're either more than likely a regal retainer, or just a curious soul.
All this being said, meeting adjourned.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I will use this if I have to. Don't do that. Like she said. Meeting adjourned.
So click off and wait for things to come out already. Worry some other time.